One thing you can always rely on air arms for is a really nice traditional rifle. Lots of wood and not a hint of any of this military styling lark. Wrong. Blimey, have they booked the trend. It's the S510T. Oh. Hello and welcome to AAR on Air. Today is a blast from the past with a review of an air arms rifle. This one though is definitely not the traditional walnut or beech clad items of old. This is all black with extendable stocks, the AR-15 grips and all the trimmings found on military style guns. This is air arms on high octane fuel. Let's take a look, shall we? Starting with a few stats first. This is available in sub 12 foot-pounds as well as FAC full power options. The sub 12 tops the scales at a fairly featherweight 2.8 kilograms or around 6.2 pounds, with the FAC having had a couple of more pies and tipping the scales at 3.1 kilograms or 6.8 pounds. Not exactly heavy though. The lengths of these can of course vary because of the adjustable CTR stock and an extra 100mm length of the higher power version. The sub 12 is between 900 and 985mm with the higher power 985 to 1070mm. Calibers available? In sub 12 you can have 177 and 22. In higher power you can have the .25 option to go with the other two. The rest of the stats we'll look at as we go along. Doing the walk around, this is all black and I must admit it does stand very well, and at first glance it is pretty clear air arms have used quality components in the construction of it. It is also nice to see they have included most everything in the box you're going to need, such as the foregrip shown in the promotional blurb and silencer and the usual couple of air arms magazines. Well done, air arms. From the front and in true air arms style, the included silencer is not only very quiet, but it's a non-standard fitment. Indeed, it's pretty specific to the S510T, as it screws into the shroud and even has the end of the barrel flow into the first 15mm of the silencer, which I'll show you just as soon as it eventually comes off. There you go. Below this is the really nicely finished filler cover. And again, to fill this you will need the air arms specific probe, which is included in the box. Now at this point the only thing I've found is a little care is required to fill the gun using this probe. I've seen a few less careful, heavy-handed guys scratch the underside of the shroud or even the silencer when they're using this to fill the gun. Moving down the gun, the next thing is the air cylinder, which isn't oversized and is really nicely hidden in the M-lock surround. This should be filled to a higher than usual maximum 250 bar. This will give a claimed shot count of 90 shots in 177 and 120 in 22 in the sub 12 foot-pound version, which to my mind is more than enough. Naturally, if you opt for the higher power versions, these figures are going to be reduced quite significantly, as you would expect. In 177 you can expect around 40 shots, 35 in .22 and just over a couple of magazines worth in .25 caliber, with 25 shots coming from the 40 foot-pounds that is on tap. At this point, a bit of a side note. It's worth just noting that the power figures in higher power are not massively high in comparison to the potential cannons out there that we're seeing coming into the market these days. 177 will give you 20 foot-pounds, 22 will give you 30 foot-pounds, and as we've already said, you can get about 40 foot-pounds from the 25. I don't know, this could be because this is a UK company that focuses predominantly on making for the UK market and then powers them up, as opposed to a lot of companies out there who are using the UK market as perhaps a bit of an afterthought, and they've got these cannons that they then have to throttle back. So the trade-off for air arms is that slightly lower, higher power version. But for pest control, that bit further out, distance-wise, these FAC figures, to my mind, are more than adequate. To keep track of your remaining air, the manometer is somewhat oversized, which gets a big thumbs up from a visually challenged mature individual such as myself, otherwise known as a blind old git. It is also a fancy moving colour gauge rather than the traditional needle type. The positioning also adds to the safety and again gets a thumbs up from me. This is also surrounded for protection with what looks like the housing for a magazine on an AR-15 or something. Along the top, it's nice to see the introduction and inclusion of a Picatinny scope rail, which does make swapping scopes a lot easier. And of course, it does match the theme of the military styling on this S510T. There is also another Picatinny rail on the side of the M-LOK to give even more flexibility to add toys, accessories, etc. There is that Magpul M-LOK grip included in the box, don't forget. The magazine is the tried and tested and been around since Adam was a lad, Air Arms 10 round alloy and plastic super simple item. If you're having problems using these, then it's usually user error. Simply drop in your pellet head first, click to the next position and repeat. Nothing could be simpler than that. You could train monkeys to do it. Once full, slide in from the left with the slide lever back into the lock position, then return the lever and you're all set. Now the magazine and the lever have a satisfying click to both of them. Onto the safety. This is an in-trigger item and is quite small and discreet. When in safe, it will completely lock the trigger. This can easily be dropped into fire mode with your trigger finger if you're right-handed, or with your thumb if you're left-handed. The trigger itself is usual Air Arms and is both comfortable and adjustable for personal preference. The grip is AR style and has a really good quality rubberized cover that is short and solid and not those budget items that seem to slip around the grip. This is a quality item. There is the usual removable bottom, but sadly this isn't shaped to be able to hold your spare magazine, which is a shame, and it highlights that this is a bought-in genuine Magpul item rather than an in-house made one. This quality is carried through to the adjustable buttstock with a double lock mechanism that keeps it more securely in place and hopefully stops a lot of that rattling that you get on the cheaper versions. This is another Magpul item and will give you more options than a standard stock for not only preferring or preferred position, but for preferred position in different circumstances. So you can have it really nice and short if you're somewhere tight. So what about power levels then? This is the sub 12 foot-pound version in 177. So let's get it out over the chronograph, shall we? Well, using 8.44 grain air arms pellets, this saw 777 feet per second, which is a healthy 11.32 foot-pounds or 15.34 joules. Now, the next test was to drop some heavier 10.34 grain pellets in. These saw 720 feet per second, which pushed the power up to 11.91 foot-pounds or 16.14 joules, which is about as close to the 12 foot-pound limit as I would want to go. Time, I think, to get this dressed up with a scope and get it onto the range and see what it's capable of. Out of the usual 40 metres. Here goes. Right, air arms, S510, T, tactical. Bit of an air arms fan. Let's see what it can do, shall we? Out at 40 metres. Let's give it a go. 177. Adjustable stock. Really, I suppose this is crying out for a bipod on the end, but we'll give it a go on this. Nice and smooth action. Really smooth. Nice, really, really nice. And I say, fully adjustable if you want to use it in tighter spaces. Hawk scope on it, not one I'm used to these days. Nice little scope, not bad at all. Yeah, good piece of kit. I must admit, I was really concerned it wasn't going to perform as well as I would have liked, because I am a bit of an air arms fan from years ago. But it didn't disappoint, even on a windy day. In this 177 caliber, it was capable of hitting some really tight groups right from the start and without even playing around to find its preferred pellets. I really feel spending more time with this and completing some proper pellet testing, this would become a real target monster. And it's great fun. In a world where the military-style airguns are becoming more and more popular, it's no surprise that air arms have taken their S510 tried and tested platform and morphed it into this weekend warrior designed black number. This is likely to tick boxes for the die-hard air arms fans and the fans of military designed airguns, and is a natural progression for this British company. They've also taken the opportunity to keep the tried and tested bits and include a few upgrades along the way too. The price? Well, this one is around £1,345 UK, so it's not cheap, but it's a quality product and not aimed at the budget end. Those air arms fans and military preferring individuals will love this. It's so simple to use, rewarding, capable, and as I've said, it's great fun. Hopefully you've enjoyed this programme. If you have, please give us the old thumbs up, subscribe, click the old alarm bell, feel free to leave comments, share, join in with the chat on the forums, and keep Mrs. AAR busy with the merchandise. A big thank you to Vector Air for managing to get hold of these seemingly rare carbines for me to review for you guys. Of course, the big thank you goes out to you guys for watching. Please stay safe and shoot safe. And hopefully, I'll see you next week. Bye for now.